Hey everyone, so welcome back to the Craftic channel. So as you know, we have some planner videos, book reviews, and craft tutorials here at the Craftic channel. So if you like those kinds of things, make sure to subscribe before you forget. So today I am going to do kind of like an updated book review. I'm not sure if many people do these kinds of things, but I thought it would be kind of fun to revisit a book that I reviewed a couple years ago. So some of you may remember the Kawaii Doodle Cuties book by Zainab Khan. I reviewed this possibly 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly. And I did a little flip through. So if you want to check out that video, make sure to check out the link in the description down below. And I will also leave a little card at the top somewhere around here. In that video I flip through the entire book, and I also do a little draw with me. So I actually picked out one of the doodles and followed all the steps from start to finish, and I think I even colored it in. So you can see like my process with that. So today's video, it's more like I wanted to revisit it in that I actually went through the entire book and I drew every single doodle in this book. I don't remember how many there are exactly. I didn't count them, but you can kind of, sorry, this is actually from a live drawing class that I did a long time ago. So, I mean, there are definitely a lot of doodles in this book. So however many, I think maybe 50, 60, I don't remember. I did a 100-day project where I called it the 100 days of craft books. So my challenge to myself was to basically pick 10 craft books and work on each book for approximately 10 days. And that meant that I would pick like sketchbooks, drawing books, lettering books, that kind of thing, and try to do each one for 10 days. And like the express purpose was to go from the first page to the last page and actually read all the instructions. So like in this book, for example, there's a whole intro section, which is only like 5 pages anyway, but actually read the directions, you know, how to use the book and all her little tips and tricks and things like that. So usually I feel like when you get a craft book, you kind of just browse and you don't really read all the pages. So this was kind of like a personal challenge to myself to actually, you know, read the instructions. So let's just get into this sketchbook. So I'm not gonna go, this is from another book that I've actually reviewed in the channel before. This was the calligraphy animals. This was from the Sketchbook book. This was from a rock painting group. Yeah, this is like drawing classes. All right, so this is this book, right? So right here, so I started on day 32 of my project, and I literally just started with the very first doodle. So the first section is food, and it starts, so adorable food, and it starts with the macaron, and then it goes on to kiwi fruit and so on. So that's what I did. So I basically did one version of every single one of these. I mean, granted, I could have done multiple versions of each doodle and each one would have come out completely differently, because one thing that I learned through this process is that no matter how hard you try, like your version is not going to be identical to the one in the book. I mean, it comes pretty close, you know, and I mean, obviously, like, you're like, even if the same artist was to draw the same thing multiple times, each one would look slightly different. So I feel like there's no need to try to be perfect about this and just kind of enjoy the process. I did want to point out that in her doodles, she does give you like some color, kind of like hints, I guess. So for example, like the pizza is mostly clear, and she does, you know, put the faces and like the pink cheeks and maybe one highlight color, but for the most part she does not color in the entire item. So it's kind of like up to you, like what colors you'd like to use. So obviously for the pretzel it would be brown, and you know, satay would probably be brown and things like that. But for the most part, yeah, like as you see, It's more about the outline and how to draw it, and then the color choices are really up to you. So a lot of these are really fun because they're like kind of an experiment of what I'd like it to look like in the end. So yeah, so these are every single drawing from this book. I loved all of these. I actually had a lot of fun with the architecture section because I never thought I would be able to draw something, especially like this, like it's so detailed, but her explanations were really good. She just has this really great way of breaking down each item into much smaller and doable pieces, and then in the end you're just kind of like filling in the little tiny details, but the basic structure is the hardest part to get down, and she just makes it look so simple, and it comes out great. Like, I was actually really impressed, not by my own skill set necessarily, but it was more like just seeing how she broke it down and how it actually ended up looking fairly good. So yeah, so these are obviously still the different architecture from different cities or countries, and then now we're in the animals section, and then this is transportation already. So you've got more transportation, and then you get down into the clothing. I noticed that a lot of times she does not use solid lines. Like, for the most part, like the outlines will be solid, but on the inside of a drawing, the details are more like dash lines. And I don't think I actually noticed that before in artists' work. I think I just assumed that everyone used solid lines for everything. I think this may be like really obvious to some people, but for some reason this completely escaped me, like this little detail. And I think that's what really intrigued me about this process was that, you know, like by drawing all of these, you start noticing all these little things, and you really start drawing in a different way, and you really start basically like evolving your own drawing style. Another thing that I noticed, so this is the end. So this is more clothing and like different countries, and then this is just like random, I think she calls it cute things or something at the end, but it's just kind of like random items like Lego and hockey sticks. But yeah, so I did notice one thing that she explains in the very beginning, where she says that the eyes are always kind of in line with the mouth. So you'll notice that the eyes are kind of far apart, and then the mouth is right in between. Because normally, you know, like you see a drawing and you see like the eyes are at the top and the mouth is at the bottom. So yeah, that's a kawaii thing. And another thing, which was kind of hard at first, was that there aren't any sharp edges in kawaii doodles. I mean, I'm sure there are a couple, but for the most part, everything has rounded edges. So you'll see like everything has like these really nice soft curves, and it makes it look more friendly. So yeah. Another thing I did want to mention is that I used just one set of coloring pencils, so that way it was a little less, I guess, what's the word? Less choices to make each day. So I do talk about that in the, I made a video a little while ago about how to tackle a 100-day project. And in that in that video, I talk about how you want to like minimize the amount of supplies you use for your project, so that way it kind of takes away the, you know, the whole choice paralysis. So if you have one set of coloring pencils, for one, you have less to choose from, and two, you start to get really familiar with all the colors, which is a weird thing to say, I guess, but you just start to kind of like notice them more. And like, I think I would normally have not used this color for the most part. I feel like it's kind of like this kind of like beigey kind of color, but when I started doodling these, I noticed that that color actually comes in really handy for a lot of these, because it has like a really nice natural color, especially for like these kinds of like golden details. So yeah, that was something else that I discovered in this project. So yeah, that's basically the whole video. I just wanted to kind of talk through all the doodles that I did. Like I learned, you know, like just like trying different colors and different combinations was really fun. And I never thought that I would be able to draw something like this. And the funny thing is that for each day I only picked maybe 4 or 5 things to draw. I think in this one there was 5, 7, 8, but I guess it depends like how long I had each day. I would try not to get too stressed out. Like for example, this day I only drew 2 things, but they were also really, really detailed. So I kept it to just 2 simple things. And then this one I did 4. So yeah. And obviously this was pre current time. So I used to go to a coffee shop and then just get a nice cup of coffee and a pastry and then just hang out for an hour on a Sunday afternoon, and then just doodle away and color. And surprisingly, no one ever asked me questions, which was really nice. Because sometimes you get onlookers. Oh, and that is a sneak peek of another book I will be reviewing. This is actually also Zainab Khan's book, and it's called The Kawaii World. So that'll be coming to the channel really soon. And by soon, I mean like a month or 2 from now. I'm not great at uploading very often, so yeah. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions about this or about the 100-day project or anything. I just kind of wanted to show that, you know, if you dedicate some time and just really stick to one book, you can finish an actual craft book. I feel like this doesn't really happen very often. I feel like we tend to buy a lot of craft books and then just kind of hoard them and leave them on our bookshelves. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually read them from cover to cover and do all the exercises. And this one took me, I believe I started on day 32 and I ended on day 43. So that's 12 days inclusive. Yeah. So yeah, in under 2 weeks, I finished the entire book. So just some motivation for you if you need some. Alright, that's it for today, so thank you for watching, and make sure you like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you'd like to see some more book reviews, and thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!